Hello everyone, my name is ZB Pickle and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Darktide. Today we had a massive update to the crafting system. We now have all the armory changes, and if you are unaware, we're just going to go over it real quick. And they also changed one of the good old modifiers for the missions. Starting off though, as you can see, there is a new thing in the armory. We still have our normal shop and such, and making sure we can get random things at higher rarities, which is great. We still have that shop. Not that most of it is any good, but you can still try and pick one up. But now we can go to Brunt's Armory here. Brunt's Armory is a change they made to the armory where you can get any type of weapon that you so wish. It will drop to you in common, or the common rarity, or the profane rarity. So right now we're gonna make a quick little build and just go into a mission. So I'm going to just go and grab a weapon I don't use all too much. I'm just going to use the snub revolver. So as you can see, I can acquire as many as I want for 10,000 of the little gold currency here. So I'm just going to buy myself one of them real quick. As you can see, it is that profane rarity. And then I also need to get a melee weapon, which I'm going to grab myself a power sword. So I'm going to acquire myself a power sword. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the crafting station, which the good old Requisitorium, or whatever it's called over here, now has some changes as well. We have some more features to the Shrine of the Omnissiah. So one of the changes is, for example, if I wanted to say get rid of this combat axe and get the Decimator or Decapitator 3, I can definitely do that. I can just basically earn blessing, and then what it'll let me do is I choose the blessing I want to earn, and I surrender the weapon to Harden, and I get that blessing so I can put it on whatever weapon I want. So we're gonna find one that is a good little so we are going to hit let's get rid of this actually, hold on. No, do I have another Devil's Claw sword? I do. I have a couple actually. So let's see here. Actually, you know what? We have a power sword. And this power sword is Brutal Momentum. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to this basic power sword and I'm going to consecrate it. This is something we've already had. This increases the rarity and gives it a little bit of a power boost. So I'm going to consecrate it, which was 137 of the plasteel. So we got 15% damage on infested enemies, which is cool. And now for upgrading to rare, we no longer need the diamantine. It only needs the plasteel, which is great. So we're going to hit it again, see what blessing we get. And we got Wrath, plus 10% cleave on hit, stacks 5 times, which is pretty good for a power sword. So then we go through, and if I wanted to here, for example, how this works. So I have my power sword here with Wrath, which I think is a better fit for a power sword than Brutal Momentum. Because Brutal Momentum, the only thing it will really do for the power sword is if it's not charged up, it'll let you hit armored enemies and go through them, which honestly, I don't know if that would be the best use for it. So I'm going to go and earn that blessing. So as you can see, I choose the Brutal Momentum and I surrender the weapon. I now no longer have that weapon, and I have that perk specifically for the power sword. So now if I go to Rebless, if I really wanted to, I could replace this one, go to the tier 2 blessings, and I can put on Brutal Momentum and replace Wrath. We're not going to do that because I do think the Wrath is a better fit for the power sword. But then going to my Snub Revolver here, which we're going to find. So let's see here. Okay, that's actually a pretty good perk. So we're going to see what happens when I consecrate this thing. I'm going to see what the power gets up to. 20% damage to infested enemies. And then sustained fire. 12% damage on second and third shots in a salvo, which could be good if I'm firing a bunch into a crowd, but that would be something you typically won't be doing with the snub revolver. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go to my other revolver here, which as you can see, this one is much more powerful. Power rating rise. So I'm going to earn the blessing, a Glory Hunter 2, surrender the weapon. Let's see here. So now I have Glory Hunter, and then we go down to, where is it? I missed it. There it is. Rebless. I'm going to replace that with the Glory Hunter. So now that weapon has Glory Hunter. Important information to know. I did change one of my tactical axes just before this, so it had brutal momentum. Whenever you re-bless something, much like the perks, it locks the other blessing. So you aren't able to fully customize your weapon because they want people to try out a lot of things, have variability, which I understand. They're trying to avoid a bit of a meta. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go and equip that snub revolver. It's not the best in the world, but it'll do. And then we're also going to equip that power sword. So I'm not going to mess with the curios at all. I just want to keep my good curios that I have on. And we're going to go and do the new mission, which I will fast forward to future me, who will talk about the new modifier. So the new modifier isn't exactly a new one, but more so just one they revamped. And the one that they revamped was our least favorite, Hunting Grounds. And it used to say that more POC sounds would appear during the mission. Now this presented a couple of problems because POC sounds in general used to be just a little bit buggy in general, and it made it more or less unfun. But as you can see here, these POC sounds that just appeared in a wave of 4. They were smaller and had glowing green eyes. Now there's an audio cue that happens before these POC sounds start showing up, and they show up in multiple waves of 4 to 6 to sometimes more, sometimes less, but it starts sending waves of these POC sounds towards you. Now you're going to have to stick together with your team once you hear that sound so you don't all get downed, because these things can actually rip your team apart, especially at the higher difficulties, and you don't want that added free damage. Now, I'm not sure if everyone gets jumped, if eventually the timer will go off and they will get off of you. I've never had a dog on me long enough to see. But this is an important modifier to pay attention to, especially if you're one of those people that like to stay in the back and try and snipe out those specialist enemies, because sometimes they will spawn behind you, which is never a fun time for anyone. And if you're one of those people that like to speed run and go ahead, avoid this modifier because they will spawn right on top of you and there's nothing you can do about it. So this is now promoting more of that teamwork that is very essential for the game, and I really like this modifier. The only modifier I would even say I like it more than or at the same rate is the one that is lights out, because without being able to see, it drastically changes the gameplay style without changing anything too much in the game, which I feel like is what the modifier should do. It should make the level feel a little bit more difficult or add a little bit of extra challenge. It's really important. So I hope that they take note of the community's reaction, because what I'm seeing has been pretty positive so far. And I hope that they take note of this and work towards more modifiers of this nature in the future. We don't want any of those boring ones that are like, oh, just a few more specialists in the mission, because those don't change anything. It's just like, it's more of a nuisance, and we sometimes don't even notice it. If they were to add one that was like, you know, a pack of snipers will appear every once in a while, that would also be really cool. You know, everyone would have to turn their focus towards all the snipers so they didn't absolutely obliterate. Or maybe they can add like a rattling gunner for them in there. They talk about them all the time, and in lore they're really cool. I think it would be something cool to add, but in the future, maybe. And also, if we're talking about future content, I would really like to see more bosses or boss battles. The captains are fine, and I feel like they definitely provide a lot of challenge during the higher levels, but I would definitely like to see more variety in the future. I would love to see like chaos spawns, or maybe like a chaos space marine, just a single one. Don't let them have a gun, because otherwise we'd probably get obliterated, but still, it would be pretty cool just to fight a chaos space marine with the 4 members of the team. So anyway, my name is AB Pickle. If you guys enjoyed this little update, which I know was a couple days late, sorry, I had some stuff going on, couldn't get the video up soon enough, but if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, comment your thoughts on the modifier down below, and subscribe if you want to see more Darktide content. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!